Hey, this is Becky Wright, thrilled to share with you some of the details of our incredible and inspiring trip to Washington, D.C. last May of 2018. My husband and I traveled with about 500 others from the Singing ChurchWomen and the Singing ChurchMen and the Baptist Symphony Orchestra of Oklahoma. We started our trip with a nice dinner at the Capitol Hill Club, followed by an inspiring time in the beautiful Capitol Rotunda, worship service, prayer, and music. And it was just overwhelming and surreal for us to be there. The paintings, the baptism of Pocahontas and the pilgrims as they prayed, so many other evidences of our Christian and heritage of faith in our country just came to light in those moments. And to be there with dear friends, worshiping God and praying for our country and our leaders, and seeing how God is working behind the scenes through things in the Senate and in the House that we don't hear in our mainstream media outlets was very inspiring. We were blessed with a private tour of the Senate and House chambers by our own Oklahoma Senator James Lankford, and learned a lot of encouraging things from him that reminded us it really does make a difference when God says to pray for the leaders over you, that God is working in their lives. Hank made sure to rub the lucky toe of Will Rogers, and here we are as we're going into the Senate chambers where we were not allowed to take photos. Since the building burned in 1812 during the war, it was rebuilt in 1819. God's hand has certainly been upon this country from the beginning. It seems my soul. Washington, D.C. is an eclectic mix of mind-boggling history and modern conveniences, including the metro system, which was dizzying just for me to look down because I'm kind of afraid of heights. But being an architect's daughter, I particularly love the architecture here, like this, the Dwight Eisenhower office buildings. It's just beautiful to look at. We did get to the outside of the Daughters of the American Revolution NSDAR library, but they were closed for the day, so I will show you inside and later in the video when we went back the following day. As the daughter of an architectural designer, I particularly enjoy beautiful architecture and historic architecture, like this one in the Red Cross building located close to the DAR building. And there's my hubby by the Washington Monument. The U.S. Treasury building is also another architectural treasure, as well as, of course, our White House where our president lives on Pennsylvania Avenue. But you won't believe what happened when we got close to the White House that day. Yep, it really happened. At Arlington National Cemetery, we witnessed the changing of the guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier, with the wreath being laid by our own choir and orchestra directors. It was quite a moment. Our next destination was a World War II memorial where we were going to do a concert, but one of our buses got disconnected from the group and received a personal escort from the city police, otherwise they never would have made it. We met the Knights of Nam on the way, and you saw them on their motorcycles there. We were so moved by the tears and the cheers of the audience that we didn't really mind the sunburn. There's the Oklahoma pillar, and Texas for my husband, and West Virginia, where we adopted our youngest 2 children from. Nearby Arlington Cemetery is the National Marines War Veterans Memorial, and also the U.S. Air Force Memorial. This is the Jefferson Memorial, beautiful. And then the Martin Luther King Memorial, which was a stunning place to behold. Our group particularly enjoyed the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial. It was something else to walk through and read the quotes and just hear his voice, although he was before my time, and to realize, like the fireside chats listening to the radio, how different it was in his world and what a difference he made while he was here. Finally, as we came around the island, we got to see the Thomas Jefferson Memorial up close. Walking through the Korean War Veterans Memorial was like being in the trenches with these men. Being Memorial Day weekend, there were lots of people there, laying wreaths, saying prayers, remembering their loved ones, including those who died in World War II. It was nigh impossible to get 500 people all in one place, but a few of us did get together in front of the White House. One of the highlights of our tour was our Kennedy Center concert, a free concert for local veterans with special guest Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. NASA was celebrating 60 years of space exploration while we were there. The next day included a truly moving concert at the Lincoln Memorial. Flash back to 10 years ago, we were here with our children and our 17-year-old niece, who exclaimed, "This is that scene from Planet of the Apes!" when she saw Abe Lincoln. We have laughed for 10 years for that one. We all enjoyed a wonderful lunch cruise down the Potomac River on the Spirit of Washington. The tea was really weak, so we think they lost some of the tea in the Boston Harbor. At least that's the story we heard. There are lots of things to do that don't cost money, like walking through beautiful gardens and even a display of modern art, including this one that really intrigued us. It's a tree made of concrete and stainless steel by an American artist who's my age, Roxy Payne. Of course, there's an abundance of historic architecture and art as well, including this 2nd Division Memorial located in President's Park. We were thrilled to finally get to visit the Museum of National Archives and finally see the actual Declaration of Independence with my great-grandfather 6 generations back, John Hart's signature. I put red dots beside his name here on this replica. Finally, we got to visit the NSDAR Library and Museum, and what a treasure we found. There's our Oklahoma flag and a painting of Mary Smith Lockwood, whose influence was pivotal in creating what we call the Daughters of the American Revolution. I was thrilled to find a copy of John Hart's biography written in the 1950s, and apparently there are only 3 of those in existence, and you can buy one on eBay for $800, so I just took a few snapshots of the book while I had it there. This is his home in Hopewell, New Jersey, his homestead, which I got to visit in 2012 in my visit to Pennsylvania and New Jersey. My husband was thrilled to find a book on the Burdick family with information about some of his ancestors dating back to the 1600s. It was fascinating looking through the staterooms and seeing the difference of decor from the northeastern states down to good old Oklahoma. In the midst of that, we ran across the great banquet hall and this plaque. Here in this memorial hall, dedicated to patriotic ancestors, it is for us collectively and individually to dedicate ourselves anew to the service of home and country. We are the representatives of a society of living, active American women, pledged to the perpetuation of American ideals of government, American ideals of social life, American ideals of religious faith, and religious freedom. We are here primarily to consecrate this society to a more vital patriotism. We come here as to a sanctuary, for the service of country is also the service of God. Anne Rogers Minor, NSDAR President General, 1920 to 23. As I'm sure you will agree, the sights of inspiring, beautiful, thought-provoking moments in our American history just were endless, and I'm only giving you a little slice of what we witnessed. Here's 1860s Texas era with a nod to my Texas-born husband and a toilet I don't think I'd want to clean. Maybe I'd rather dress up in something like this and go out on the town. But I definitely gravitated to the musical instruments. As you all know, I love music, and particularly piano. And just thoroughly enjoyed our visit to the NSDAR Library and Museum. Sadly, we didn't have time to see inside the National Museum of African American History, but we did get to see inside the National Museum of the American Indian. Particularly being from Cherokee County, Oklahoma, I was very proud and very moved to see our city's history, our country's history, displayed in this amazing museum. The haunting stories came back to me as if I were hearing it for the first time. I am thankful to live among and consider as dear friends and neighbors the Cherokee people in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Our final concert was at the home church of Vice President Mike Pence, Emmanuel Bible Church in Springfield, Virginia.
Jesus is coming to earth again. What if it were today? Coming in power and love to reign. What if it were today? Coming to claim His chosen bride, all the redeemed and purified. When shall these glories meet our eyes? What if it were today? Faithful and true, we find us free. If we should come today, watching in blackness and not in fear. If we should come today.
Just before leaving for the airport, my husband and I took a little excursion to Theodore Roosevelt Island, a little gem right in the middle of the city that I didn't even know existed before that walk. It was a beautiful place and a beautiful way to say our farewells to our nation's capital. For now, you can read more about our trip and other adventures at inspiringhopeblog.com or find the blog from my website, BeckyWrightSongs.com.
Of an